Use my code PAID10 to get 10% off your next order of Advanced GG. In this Destiny 2 video, we're going to be unlocking the full potential of your Warlock with the Felwinter's Helm Domination build. With the release of the Edge of Fate, Bungie actually buffed the Felwinter's Helm exotic helmet, which makes it much easier to use. So I'm going to be going over what exactly changed about this exotic, and then we've got a prismatic build that you guys can use to help you get the most out of this exotic buff for the Felwinter's Helm. So sit back, relax, drop a like on the video. Now let's get into it.
Yo, it's time to subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. What are you doing?
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous.
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. Like the video. Come on.
Hell
you know
yeah.
the drill.
Button.
And slap that like button.
So before Bungie changed this exotic, it used to state that powered melee final blows create a burst of energy that weakens nearby targets. Finishers and final blows against more powerful targets increase the radius of the burst and the length of the weakening effect. So what they actually changed about this is that they added powered melee damage weakens targets, which makes this exotic much more useful because in the endgame content, it's really hard to get a powered melee kill. Everything has a bunch of health, and if you don't have a bunch of stacking melee bonuses going on, you're not going to get a one-hit kill. But now that's no longer the case. You just have to damage them, and you will get a 15% weaken effect on those enemies and all the surrounding enemies. If you get a powered melee final blow, it'll actually be a 30% weaken effect, which is equivalent to a tether or a tractor cannon, some of the strongest weaken effects in the game. So as you can see right here, we are going to throw a melee, and all these enemies around actually got weakened. And if you do a finisher, it's also going to weaken enemies too. So now it's time to start building into this exotic. Like I said, we are going to be on the Prismatic Warlock, and I am choosing to take the Needle Storm. We're going to be using the Needle Storm because one of the fragments that I'm going to take is going to allow us to get Woven Mail whenever we pick up an orb if we have the Strand Super on. If you guys aren't a fan of the Needle Storm, then you can by all means switch to the Song of Flame, because with that same fragment, if you pick up an orb, you're going to be gaining Restoration, which will also help keep you alive. Then for the class ability, we're going to be taking the Phoenix Dive, dive to the ground and create a burst of solar light that cures nearby allies. For the melee, we are taking the Arcane Needle, sling a woven needle that will embed in your target and unravel them, and those unraveled targets will unwind into a tangle, and we're actually going to get 3 melee charges. And since this is a melee build, we want all the melee charges that we can get. And while we're on that note, you definitely want to build into your melee stat and get it as high as possible. Then for the grenade, I am bringing the Cold Snap Grenade, a grenade that freezes on impact and sends another seeker to find and freeze targets. Now we're planning on taking this into some high level content. So the Cold Snap Grenade is just a really good way to freeze enemies in place and they won't be able to shoot at you. So when you're getting overwhelmed, it's really nice to just throw this out and just freeze everything in its tracks. Then we are taking the Lightning Surge. While sliding, activate your charged melee ability to blink forward, calling down lightning strikes that jolt targets as you rematerialize. And the targets that are hit by your lightning strikes grant you stacks of bolt charge. So what is really cool about this is that with our Arcane Needle, we can just use it to unravel enemies like so. And as you can see, it spreads it, and now this enemy's unraveling. Spreads it to this guy, he's unraveling. Or you can just use your Lightning Surge like this, and the Lightning Surge is going to jolt enemies. So you don't always have to use one or the other. It's actually really good to switch it up. I really like to throw an Arcane Needle first to get that darkness energy going. And then you start with your Lightning Surges, and that will just continue to spread the darkness unravel, as well as the light side Lightning Surge. Then of course we are taking Feed the Void. Defeat a target with any ability to activate Devour. When we have Devour active, every kill we get is going to give us our health back, and it's going to give us grenade energy. So if you check this out, we're going to throw away our grenade. We're going to get an ability kill with the melee. We have Devour active. Now every time we get a kill, we get that grenade energy back. And it just takes a couple of kills and our grenade is fully back, and we just keep throwing it. Then getting into our fragments, we have Facet of Protection. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. While Transcendent, the effect is increased, and this will give us a +10 to our melee. As you can see, we're in the middle of some enemies, so we have Facet of Protection active, and it's going to be a 15% increase to our damage resistance. And with this build, you really want to slide into big groups of enemies, and when you do, you're going to have this active, so that's really nice. Then we have Facet of Purpose. Picking up an Orb of Power is going to grant us a Woven Mail. So now when we pick up this orb, we're going to gain Woven Mail. That is a 45% increase to damage resist for 5 seconds. Then we have Facet of Hope. While you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. And elemental buffs counts as Amplified, Bolt Charge, Cure, Radiant, Restoration, Devour, and Woven Mail. These are all buffs that we'll be able to obtain. And when we have just one elemental buff active, that's 40% additional base class ability regeneration. And when we have 2 elemental buffs active, that is a 60% additional base class ability regeneration. So as you can see, we already have Bolt Charge. You just throw a melee, and then we have Radiant. So now we have 60% because we already have about 3 of them going right now. Now we're Amplified, so we got Amplified, we got Radiant, we got Devour. As you can see, we're always going to have those elemental buffs up and get that fast class ability back. Then we have Facet of Dawn. Powered melee hits against targets make you Radiant. Powered melee final blows make you and your nearby allies Radiant. And Radiant is going to increase our weapon damage by 20%. So right here on this guy, we're hitting 152 to the head. And if we become Radiant, we're hitting 182 to the head. And that radiant's going to last for about 5 seconds. Then we have the Facet of Defiance. Finishers create a detonation that either jolts, scorches, slows, severs, or makes targets volatile based on the damage type of your equipped super. So since we have the Strand super on, it is going to sever targets, which is really cool because if you finish this guy, since he's severed and we finished him, it actually creates a tangle. So this is just yet another way we can create a tangle, which is pretty awesome. On top of weakening all these enemies because we got the finish off. Now for the artifact, you're going to want to take Flame, Fiber, and Freeze. We're going to be using some solar and strand weapons, so we can take advantage of this. You're going to want Refresh Threads, picking up an elemental pickup matching your subclass element, or Tangle while you have Strand Super grants energy to your least charged ability. So if we throw this grenade away, create a Tangle, and then if we pick it up, we should get a little bit of grenade energy. And as you can see, we got a little bump there. It's about 10%. Then the third column, we have rapid precision hits with solar weapons grant Radiant, and rapid precision hits with Stasid weapons grant Frost armor. Now we are using the Lord of Wolves, so if we get some precision hits off right here, you'll see we can become Radiant for 10 seconds. Then we also have Threaded Blast. Destroying a tangle with strand damage increases the radius of the explosion and its damage. So we're going to create a tangle, and then we're going to destroy it with a weapon that's not strand. And as you can see, we just killed the one guy. And now we're going to create a tangle, and we're going to shoot it with our strand hand cannon. And as you can see, a much bigger area of effect. Then we also have Shield Crush. While you have Woven Mail, our melee will recharge faster and deals increased damage. And while we're Radiant, our grenade recharges faster and deals increased damage. So we're getting Woven Mail from picking up orbs, and we're getting Radiant from precision hits and our melee. And then we have Tangled Web. Creating a tangle by defeating a strand debuff target suspends nearby combatants. So if we create a tangle like so, those guys become suspended. As for the armor mods on the helmet, we've got Hands On to gain bonus super energy on melee kills. We've got the Solar Strand Dual Siphon to get orbs off our Lord of Wolves and our Strand Hand Cannon. On the gauntlets, I've got 2 melee fonts. 1 melee font will give you a +20, and 2 melee fonts will give you a +40. So you can see our melee stat is currently at 101, but when we have the fonts active, it's going to be 141, which is going to increase the damage done by our melee anything over 100. And then we have a Focusing Strike, grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a powered melee attack. On the chest piece, we have Charged Up to increase the maximum number of stacks of our armor charge. And we also have a health font on here. On the leg armor, we have Invigoration, reduces melee cooldown when we pick up an orb. We have Stacks on Stacks, that grants us 1 additional stack of armor charge, and Recuperation replenishes health each time we pick up an orb. On the class item, we have Reaper mod to create an orb shortly after using our class ability. All we have to do is get a weapon final blow. Then we have a time dilation mod. Our armor charge is going to last a little bit longer. And then Outreach, it's going to reduce our melee cooldown when using our class ability. And for my weapons, I'm using the Unloved Strand hand cannon, but you can use whatever strand weapon you want. We've got the Lord of Wolves, it's extremely strong. And I've also got the Watchful Eye, has jolting feedback, which is really good in my opinion. So Guardians, that is going to do it for the build. As always, there is a dim link in the description if you guys want to copy and paste that into your Destiny item manager to try this loadout for yourself. If you guys are new here and found this helpful, subscribe to the channel, do me a huge favor, drop a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next build guide.